When you're bright,
Oh, you
I
know
look
what?
like a ghost.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Oh, you know what? I could do it this way.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We are Our Tribe of Many. I'm Sarah.
And I'm solo.
And we have been married almost 20 years. 20 years this summer.
You know, let's just clear this up. We were 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Very young.
Yeah.
Anyway, today we wanted to talk about marriages. It's the love month.
Ooh.
And we have some practical things we want to share with you today. 5 practical things that we believe have helped our marriage. So the first thing is, before we got married, we were very different people from very different cultures, very different families.
Has that changed now?
We were very different.
We're still different people.
Yes, we have the same faith, but we could have married a lot of different people that had the same faith as us. But
Sure.
I think that this is for the couples that are not yet married, or the people out there still looking for a spouse. Is one thing I think that we did really well is we found someone who shared similar values to us. So our first point is marrying someone who has the same values.
How do you know if someone has the same values? If you have the same faith, maybe of the same culture?
Well, we had very different of so many things.
Right.
And a lot of people have asked us over the years, oh, have you struggled a lot because you have different cultures? And I think sometimes people get nervous when they marry someone who has a very different family background. Honestly, those things, sure, we've joked around about our ongoing fights or arguments are always the same things. And it probably does have a lot to do with our family and our culture.
Yeah.
But the main thing was the same for us. And that, I think, is so important. That's what we recognized when we found each other on the other side of the world. For you, it was the right side of the world. For me, it was the other side. We thought the same about things in life. So, like, when it pertains to our faith, to me, anything the Lord told me to do, no matter how crazy it was or whatever, I was game, and I was game for it immediately. And he was the same way.
We're willing to sacrifice,
Yes.
which really necessitated our marriage anyway.
Yeah.
Because someone's gonna pay a price, whether, you know, is where you're gonna live, all sorts of things. But we were both willing. The driving factor was the Lord, really was our anchor. We weren't trying to fit God into our lives. I guess the difference between values, we were not trying to fit God into our lives. No, he was the center of our lives. Because you could have Christians that they live their lives and they try to kind of add the Lord in a different compartment of your life versus him being the center. And we recognize in each other that we both had valued really the Lord as being the core. Decision making revolved around what the Lord wanted, as opposed to just trying to fit God into our lives.
And I would say even beyond that, I could have found other guys like that felt that way. But another thing I recognized about Solo that I recognized in myself is I was willing to make the unsafe decisions. And I had recognized decisions he had made throughout his life that were bold and not the safe route, or not the route that everyone else had gone. And I felt that for myself too.
I don't think it's unsafe. I think the word there that we're looking for is
Out of the box.
Yes. It's not just being in the box.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily unsafe. Sometimes actually your safe is outside the box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Unsafe to the rest of the world.
Right.
What they would have seen as like not the safe decision, or what everyone else was doing.
Yes,
More out
the
of the
seemingly easier route.
Yes.
The easier
so I think
route,
if I would have picked someone that was doing all the things that everyone around me was doing,
go to
when I
school,
was
do
growing
this. Take a job, do that. This, checking the box.
I think I probably would have been very frustrated throughout my marriage. But I picked someone who's like, hey, whatever God said, I'm going to do it. And he had done that several times where it was not what everyone around him was doing. And so to me, that resonated with me a lot. And I think it has helped stay on the same page. Even when we have different ideas, we're both willing to just think outside the box.
Right.
And not just do what everyone else around us has done, which is obvious with our lives probably.
So true.
Did you recognize that in me?
Absolutely. And it's what I liked about you at first, you know, just as a friend and everything. I recognized that in you. And it was really attractive to me to see that yeah, hey, here's someone that thinks outside the box. You know, they're not just necessarily being following the box that's been defined for them by people, by culture.
I think that was a strong value for me. It was a strong value for him. And so because that matched up, it's helped everything else in our lives match up. Faith would be a no-brainer. I would never marry someone outside my faith personally. He wouldn't have either. But it even goes beyond that. It's how we live out our faith too. No matter culture, family, whatever, I think if you see the person making decisions the way you would make decisions, I think it will help a lot. And that shows what values they have, really. When they walk it out in their lives, it shows what they value.
Right.
So how they spend their money,
how they live it out, yeah.
How they live it out, how they respond in
crisis,
and how they respond in pivotal moments, or how they have responded in the past in pivotal moments of their life where they come to a big major decision. So that I thought was a very key that people don't talk about all the time. And yeah, for us, culture has not been an issue. It's fun. It makes it more exciting that we have two different cultures.
A little bit more flavor.
All right, number 2.
Those. For us, it's been our big family. And actually, number 2 is pivoted from our number 1. In that, even though when we were engaged, we were talking about how big we wanted our family is. And some of you have watched videos where Sarah and I have talked about, hey, I said I want 3 to 4 kids. Yeah. And she said, no, I want 12. And you're like...
I said 4 to 12 because I wanted to seal the
to make it simple, yeah. But because we also have that same value where we want to think outside the box, I think that's what's played out well in our lives. So by having a large family, it's made family the focus of our life. Mm-hmm. So that's also played into our marriage because our life revolves around the family and working together as a team, not having one person be overloaded or anything. So it also has helped our marriage because family has been the focus. Yeah. Though we've been self-employed, we've worked, we've had careers and stuff like that, we still, it revolves around our family.
Yeah, so it's forced us to actually keep our focus around our home. And we're pastors of a church. Solo's the lead pastor of our church. And that, I grew up in a pastor's home. I know it is a demanding job, and it can demand a lot of your time and your attention and your emotions, your energy, and all those things. And because we have a large family, he's always had to keep a focus at home too. I think we would have chose that anyway, but the family for sure has made it happen. So I think in that aspect, having a large family has really helped our marriage because we've had to work together as a team with the church. It has to be centered around the home. So that's been a big benefit. I think we could get to the point where it's causing contention in our marriage because children, they certainly bring the selfishness out of you. And having a lot of responsibility at home can be really hard, but we remind ourselves often in our own heads and to each other that we're on the same team, and those kind of things help. I tell you, if you start getting on different teams when it comes to a large family or any children at all, it can cause division. And so that's been an intentional thing in our lives, like remembering that we're on the same team, we're in this together. We may be going through a stressful season, sleepless nights, sick kids, whatever it is, but we are on the same team, we're doing this together. How can we help each other and solve this problem?
Having a lot of kids is demanding, really. It's not it's not easy. Actually, having one kid is demanding, and if you have one child, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The kick comes into really being on the same team. As a pastor, I've counseled a lot of couples and a lot of families, and oftentimes when there is conflict with respect to kids and all that, usually the burdens are not shared equally in terms of the focus being on the family. Sometimes maybe one spouse, it could be mom or dad, one of them maybe is putting in a lot. And you don't have to put equal times necessarily. Right. It's a shared teamwork. The job of a quarterback and the job of a linebacker are different, but they both have to give the same amount of effort. Yes. With their roles, and I think that's what happens most of the times with marriage. Whether you have 25 kids or you have one, I think when there is that feeling that we are supported and supporting each other, and we are in it together, not competing or checking marks, like it's part of the same team, I think it helps not only the kids, it helps the marriage situation.
Yes, I'm definitely the one that gives the most time
at home.
With the kids. But I definitely also feel like he values it equally to me. So if I'm struggling in an area, I can talk to him about it. He can help me solve it. He can maybe even support me with more time for a while in this area or that. He definitely is, to the kids, they see him valuing that too.
Sometimes I've changed my schedule, and one of the reasons I went self-employment before I went to ministry is that to be able to have that flexibility. To control my own schedule. I don't work less. I just get to choose when I work. You know, I might be in the office till midnight. But be home when I, you know.
And sometimes he's worked it out when we have a teenager that just needs a little extra TLC, if you know what I mean. And I can't give it. He'll take someone to work with him for a couple of days.
And some of them don't like it when they have to do their schoolwork in my office. But
that's the way I feel supported, and I know if he values it enough to interrupt his work day. But we have to remember sometimes when one spouse is out working, they're also supporting the family in a different way. And so, I've reminded myself that a few times.
I've seen that just even from a pastoral standpoint. It happens where maybe someone feels what they do is not being valued. Or not supported, or they don't feel the support they need. It can go a long way, and oftentimes it's not even as much work. It's really the spirit of feeling heard and supported. Okay.
That makes sense. The next one, number 3, is that we have had an open marriage.
Oh, no. Could you go and Google that term and realize?
Don't Google that term.
Don't Google that. No.
I am not talking about the open marriage you've heard about in our culture right now, but we have a very, what would be another word?
No, it's just a matter of, delete that number 3. We don't do open marriage.
I won't define it, but
don't define it. Let's try to find a word.
I'll define it, but I won't title it. We have always had access to each other, not to each other's. We share bank accounts, but we've both had equal access to everything in each other's lives. So bank accounts, phones, email, social media, whatever it is, we have equal access to each other's lives at all times.
So the third one, how do we call?
Conversations.
Instead of open marriage,
it really is.
We should just say equal access.
Oh you got a phone call. Should I answer?
Yeah, you can answer. He's not available right now to take your call.
I think that's
equal
really
access
important.
Is the one. Equal access.
But even conversations he has, I don't really care about any of the conversations he has, but he can tell me anything. And I know he will be fine with me asking anything about any conversation he has had throughout his day or week, and vice versa. I don't have any interesting conversations ever, but you know what I mean. So that has been a value for us. We've never really even had to talk about it. It's just been a standard throughout our entire marriage, and I think it makes a difference.
We share passwords on everything.
Yes.
You
got a lot of things ringing everywhere.
They're ringing everywhere. I need to get back to my old phone watch.
You need a flip phone.
I don't know why they signed me up. I need to do not disturb.
You need a flip phone and no smartwatch.
So number 4, time together. And I think that's the mystery they're sometimes trying to figure out, how do you have all these kids and have time together? You have to spend time together. You really do. What has worked for us over the years is that when all our kids were younger, they all went to bed early. We had consistent bedtimes, and they were early. And we didn't have this huge ritual. I mean, it's like a huge, magnificent ritual to put a baby to sleep.
Right.
Well, because we made it so that it's easier for them. So we train them so that it's easier, you know. You can read a book, you can pray.
So they're definitely down by 7.
So they're down by 7. Some people have made a religion out of bedtime, and it comes to bite you because you want to go on a date, and even your own mother cannot put the kids to bed.
Okay, let's calm down.
No, I just feel like couples sometimes shoot themselves in the foot.
Just think about how you're starting routines and how it might affect your life later. That's all. So we had evenings together when our kids were young, and actually we had no date night budget when our kids were young, but we had evenings together all the time. So we had quality time together.
And even if we were going out on a date, we would just do a late date because they all went to bed by 7.
Yeah.
If someone came in and sat in, babysitter.
I don't even remember doing that. I'm sure we did a couple times. So now that our kids are older, we have teenagers that are home that can watch. We're just in a different stage of life. So a lot of times we do go out of the house. We have a certain night that we just set aside for date night, and some older kid is always home to keep the house under control, but we still go out after the little ones are in bed most of the time if we're going out. And sometimes we'll even just drive around, but just getting out of the house and be able to talk in a like focused environment helps a lot. Or we can go out to a restaurant or whatever. And so things change over the years, but we've always been able to find that time. So wherever it is, if we had like middle-aged kids that were not like cool with going to bed at 7, what we did is we had a night that they would go down and they could go to their rooms and read a book or go to sleep. That was their choice. So that would have been our date night, and we didn't leave the house most of the time for those date nights, but it was time together. So that's the point of it. It wasn't some fancy dinner or...
We could watch a movie, we could do something at home.
Yeah, we could do anything.
And we could, even sometimes we would actually get food in.
Yeah, we'll pick up food.
We'll pick up food and have it in.
But the point is, you have to have some time where kids aren't interrupting you constantly, so you can talk or just relax. You know, not have demands on you all the time. It goes a long way. So we've noticed before that we had to like, have we had time together for a while? So this last 9 months we've had consistent going out of the house date nights. Just made a point, because sometimes weeks can go by and you realize you haven't done it. So we just decided to name one night date night, and it's worked out really great.
Right.
And it hasn't even been hard for the big kids because the little ones are already in bed, so they really just they just hang out and watch a movie and they don't even hardly notice. So.
Right. And it just helps you get on the same page, because sometimes you're all busy, sometimes both are working, and you go through life, and it just helps you to kind of be on the same page with key things in life.
Yeah.
And that's consistently something that has to be done all the time for a good time, you know.
Yep.
And because if you don't deliberately do it, if you're not intentional about it, it's never gonna happen.
Our fifth thing is that we have always respected each other's calling or purpose in life. So we really believe that everyone is on this earth for a purpose and a calling. Each one of us is created for something unique for us. And all of you, we've been able to meet so many different unique people doing unique things from around the world. And we believe that all of us have different perspectives and things on purpose, and that's a God-given thing. And so each one of us has a purpose or a calling, and it's not always the same exact thing.
Right. And it's also different seasons of life.
Yes.
You know, you're prone to a certain thing, maybe for a different season. And the key is really supporting that, not in competition.
Right.
Or competing.
Yeah.
Whose work is more important than the other, really.
Right.
It's about having everybody getting fulfilled and being supported and celebrated in what they are doing. You know?
So we've always made a purpose to really respect and support each other's calling or purpose or whatever you want to call it. And I think for me, that's made a huge difference. I think when I look around at marriages, I can see a lot of couples do the same thing, and I can see couples that don't necessarily, and it can make one spouse really feel frustrated over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we've been able to avoid by just, we've been doing this thing that is my path, and this is an opportunity that's more along your path. How can I support you in that? It's important to hear each other, to listen, and really hear what the other person has in their heart and support it, because it will go a long way in your marriage.
And sometimes that would entail seasons of sacrifice, but the sacrifice cannot be always that's just the one person sacrificing. Sacrifice is both ways too. Yeah. So having that already preemptive position of recognizing that sometimes we can't both do what we want when we want it.
Right.
And sometimes and it cannot be just one person getting all what they want, and the other person is not feeling supported. Communication, spending time together, alone time together, sharing dreams and aspirations together. Allow. It's not like a one night. We get it all done. It's over time allows for being able to kind of balance these things out and being flexible. It's like life is about flexibility, being flexible.
Yeah, going back to number 4 in our time together, a lot of it is in the car driving. We drive across the country at least once a year, and we've spent a lot of time in the front seat of different vans or SUVs dreaming. And dreaming together is so important. But when you can recognize, when you can respect and recognize each other's dreams too, when they're not exactly the same, it goes a long way for your marriage.
I remember one memorable trip. I remember we were in the car, and it was near the beginning of the year or at the end of a year or something. Kids were sleeping in the back, and we were just talking about different things we want to do, our goals with finance, money, our goals with kids, our goals with career and jobs and all that. And ministry work that we do, we've always been 100% involved in ministry since we were teenagers. And then we prayed a long time. We just, all the things we talked about, it was a very long drive. We had an opportunity to pray for all of it. The awesomest thing I remember is looking back a year later and realizing that not only did we fulfill all the dreams, it was far beyond, and all the prayers were answered. And I think it just helped to be on the same page and be able to kind of focus together, you know. So that's part of the reason we enjoy those drives together, is that it forces you to be present.
That's true.
It forces you to be present, you know, because in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, you could be there and not be present.
Yeah.
Because your mind is distracted by all that's going on.
Okay, guys, if you made it to the end of this video, congratulations.
Good job.
Thank you for watching.
Yes.
We would love to hear from you. Did one of these stick out to you, or do you have a bit of your own advice that you would offer couples?
Yeah, and especially these last couple years of the pandemic, really, I think it's taken a toll on a lot of families and marriages, and so it's so important to kind of fight together and not just give up on each other, but recognizing that a lot of people are struggling for different reasons and working together as a team. There's a verse in the Bible that says that one can put 1,000 into flight and 2, 10,000. So your effort is multiplied when you're in true unity. It's not just addition, it's multiplication. It's a multiplication factor. So when you're fighting, even if your marriage is in a hard place right now, if you're fighting together in the same spirit, just working together, you can get a lot more accomplished because your spirit is united, even though you are in a tough spot.
Yeah, that's true.
And not fighting against each other. So anyway.
I mean, we are not like some perfect couple.
Not at all. No,
in fact,
we
had
close.
one argument just filming this video, so we're normal people.
Oh yes, we did. I forgot.
He doesn't even remember.
Well, let's just make it
10
clear.
minutes ago.
There's 2 of us in this marriage, and one of us is perfect, and it's not me.
All right, we gotta go. That's enough from us. Thanks for watching today,
Happy
guys.
Valentine's late. Yeah.